Inevitably, as a professional angler, there are times when returning to a favourite water is just like meeting up with an old friend. And having been doing this for a fair few years now, I've a great many favourites. I'm Bob Nudd, and having been World Course Angling Champion 4 times, I guess I must have been doing something right. And they do say that practice makes perfect, so I make no apology for bringing you back to Wales for a return visit. Throughout this series, which has taken me to many fabulous locations, I've had the chance to introduce you to some splendid fish, and today will be no exception, having come in search of the beautifully coloured roach. This is a great favourite with anglers nationwide, and I'll be catching roach using casters, hemp and tears. Roach. How am I going to catch them? Where will I fish? Today we've got a strong southwesterly wind. So I've picked an area of the lake which is fairly calm, just a corner of the lake. The depth is about probably 5 foot deep. Looking at the weather today, we could get some rain. Don't worry, I've got a spare cap. Now if we look at the swim that I want to fish, it's early autumn, the winter temperatures are just starting to kick in. There's a bed of lilies over there. I think I'll ignore those because there's a little bit more wind there. I'm going to go for this slightly calmer area, fishing with a pole, probably at about, just trying to think, 7 or 8 metres out would be about right. Where the margins are very shallow, then it will go down and it will level off. I haven't plumbed up yet, but these lakes are usually pretty consistent in how they're made. It's a commercial type fishery, so what am I going to catch them on? Casters, hemp and tears, but I think casters probably will be the best bait today. Let's go and get my gear. Plumbed the depth and decided to fish just where it's going down the shelf in about 5 foot of water. It does go deeper than that. But I'm going to put a nice bed of feed in, get something down on the bottom to try and catch these bigger roach. So 3/4 of a pot full of hemp, sprinkle some casters on the top. Casters usually always bring an instant reaction, and hemp usually for bigger fish later on. I'm going to put a big pot of bait in. The only trouble is there's some big carp here and I could hook one of them today. I've picked a marker so that I know that where I'm fishing to, where I'm feeding to, where I'm fishing to is the same, and cup that, just that big pot into that calm water. You can see the oil coming off that hemp. It's a lovely, lovely bait for holding roach. Even if you don't catch the roach on the hemp, the seed itself will hold the fish. It's a brilliant bait just for that. Caster on the hook though. So 1 pot of bait in, how long will they take to come? Lots and lots of roach here, so I don't think it'll be very long. Put a single caster on there. Now casters are, it's the chrysalis of a maggot, this particular one, the large one, is the common bluebottle. First of all you get the eggs from the fly, then you get the maggots, and then it turns into a caster, the chrysalis stage before it goes back into a fly again. And that is in itself a deadly bait for roach. Developed in the sort of early 50s by match anglers in the northwest. And they love the crunchiness of the caster. And the soft fluid of the maggot inside. And straight away a fish. Only a small one this time, but only 1 pot full of bait. Oh, that one's slipped the hook. Just a very, very small fish, that. was straight away a bite. I am burying that hook in just inside the caster, just to hide it a little bit from the fish. All fish are crafty. They know what's going on, and if they see a hook, they don't take the bait, so I'm just burying that inside. Back on there. I'd expect to catch 1 or 2 small fish first, and then bigger fish later. And what I'm going to do is loose feed now. I've put a big pot of bait in, I'm going to loose feed. Just flick a few casters out, make a bit of noise as I do it. As the casters hit the water, they make a noise. Fish love that as well. Another little bite then. Oh, it's great to see the fish coming on so early. A few more casters, just to flick a few casters each time. As they go in, you hear that little rattle. But it always takes a time for the bigger fish to come. Fish are not everywhere. They're everywhere over the lake, but they're not all big fish exactly where you're fishing until they find the bait and start to compete for the food. I know they're there. There's already 1 or 2 signs that fish are there. So where I'm fishing is just as the shelf is sloping away. I'm fishing down the shelf, not the full depth, sort of halfway down, and oh, there's a big fish. It's a better fish right early on. Nice roach. Oh, that didn't take long. Lovely. Oh, what a great start. Lovely caster roach, that particular one. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Look at the colours on that fish. The black eye, the jet black eye, with the red tinge fins. Wonderful condition. Heavy, probably about 4 ounces that one. Just inside the mouth. Great start. You might have seen this location before, but whenever you come to Holgham Farm, it's always a wonderful experience. The views are truly breathtaking, and of course the fishing is what brings me back here again and again. There are some weighty specimens to be had, and with 3 Great Lakes to choose from, whether taking part in a competition or simply fishing for pleasure, this lovely spot in southwest Wales is a dream come true. Some may consider roach a small fry, but with fish here reaching as much as 2 pounds in weight, this is going to be fun. This is Wales at its best, in the county of Pembrokeshire, where you'll find Britain's only coastal national park. One of the things I love about angling is the fabulous places that I get to fish, and with the roach ready and waiting, that's just what I'm going to do. Meanwhile, back at my peg, this one's a rudd. They look very much like a roach. Let me show you the difference. The fins are more red tinged, deeper red, and the fish itself is deeper bodied. But the biggest difference is the top lip. You pull that caster out of the way. The top lip, it's a surface feeding fish, so the top lip is set right back. Lovely, beautiful fish. They love casters as well. You can really see it there, the top lip set right back. The rudd. Confused often with the roach. I like to pick a nice juicy caster. I look into the box and pick the biggest one I can find, partly bury the hook into it, only partly. The point is still showing. You can bury it completely if it's really difficult, when it's cold in the winter, really freezing, then sometimes you have to bury it completely. And I've dropped over that baited area again, and then a handful every time you need a handful of these casters rattling on the top. Oh, and straight away it's gone. I think with these big fish feeding, looks like a much better quality roach. Oh yes, lovely, lovely fish this one. It really is. Even these roach fight hard. That's a beautiful fish. Now these are feeding. The bigger ones, I think it's time to try the hemp and tears. Look at that. Oh, a lovely fish. Probably almost half a pound in weight. Perfect, perfect condition. This fantastic location is in South Wales, and I'm catching roach at Ian Heaps's fishery. He's another world course angling champion with a legendary approach to roach. But more of Ian later. Oh, these fish are going really well. Every cast a bite. Oh, it's a nice roach. Now under this one. Lovely fish. So much action, throwing those casters in. The fish are coming. Oh, the hook dropped out of that one. I don't even have to unhook it. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Look at that, so clean. Dark, dark back. Straight back in the water. Fantastic fishy. Hemp is a brilliant bait for catching roach. It's more a summer bait when the water's warm. I think, if you look at it, I think the fish imagine they're small snails. Some people say they're a drug and they're banned on some waters. Can you believe it? Ban hemp, but nothing's wrong with it. It's a fantastic bait for catching big roach. I'm not sure we're going to catch on it today because the water temperature's dropping. And I've done this myself. You just put it in a pan, bring it to the boil, and allow it to simmer until the seed opens up and you can see the white pieces, then it's ready for using. Tears are just a type of pea, and you boil it the same as hemp, bring it to the boil, allow it to simmer until the seed feels soft. As you squeeze it in your hand, you can feel it fairly soft and you can put the hook in it, then it's perfect. Looks a bit like elderberries, I think, and roach love elderberries as well. So that's really the seed bait that catches big roach, more for summer fishing. Not sure that I'm going to catch on it today because the water temperature is going colder and colder. Putting the hemp on the hook. First of all, you need to pick a piece which is just splitting, just opening. When you boil hemp, what happens is that some opens more than others, and you need to pick one that's almost just about opening so you can push the bend of the hook, just push the bend of the hook in that split, just push it in, and it's tight there, so it just grips around the hook. I haven't really hooked it, I've just pushed the hook in the bend, like that. And then it enables you, when the fish takes, it will bite, and you will hook it easily. The point is showing. So one single grain of hemp pushed in that split that's just opening. If the hemp's open too far, then you'll find that you won't be able to hook it properly. You don't really push the hook through it though, you just push it into the bend. And the hinge of the hemp, there's some tension there, enough to hold the bait on the hook, and it bites straight away. First throw in on hemp, that's a big fish, I don't know what it is. Just been steadily feeding that hemp and cupping it in as well, so no idea what this fish is. I told you they liked hemp. Big roach. This is a good fish. Is it a roach? Sometimes a mystery of fish. What are they? Is it a roach? Surely can't be a roach. If it is, it's a big one. Oh, all that bait that I've put in there, those cupfuls, big cupful of bait. Fish have come on it. It is always a cracking fish. Oh, this is a lovely fish. Oh, whew. Is it a roach though? I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is. Oh, it might be. It might be a small carp's taken that. I think it is, yeah, a small carp has taken that grain of hemp. Wow. You just never know in fishing, do you? Look at that. Wow. This is a completely different fish. This is a what they call a brown goldfish. Lovely big fantail, but took that grain of hemp. Oh, I'm fishing for roach, I'm not fishing for you. Look at that. Powerful fish though. Well over a pound. Look at that beautiful tail. The dorsal fin. Solid, solid muscle. Didn't know these ate hemp. I thought this was for roach. Fantastic fish, but it had settled on the bait. Let's have a look at my setup for roach. I've got an 18 fine wire hook. The hook length is 1.5 pound, it's 0.10 millimetre, 1.5 pound breaking strain. And then I've got the knot from the main line to the hook length. I've put a small shot, a number 11. And then about 3 or 4 inches above it, another shot the same size, number 11. I've got 4 of these shots, fairly equally spaced. To allow this slow drop, I'm loose feeding, I want to allow the caster or the hemp to drop slowly through the water and for the fish to intercept. The main line is just over 2 pound, a little bit more than the hook length itself. The float, just a small float with a carbon stem, nice bristle that I can see easily. And then up to the connector, I've got a number 8 elastic there, enables me to handle most roach of all sizes really. That's just the shock absorber, just to help me land the fish. And that's my simple roach setup for pole fishing. Hemp and casters are both working, but I'm going to stick to caster. Another little trick I've got is you need to, when it's difficult, bury the caster, and you can completely bury the hook. You can't do this with maggots. You can completely bury the hook in the caster. Now, if you look at that, you can't see anything, just a line coming out of the top of the caster. That's really when fishing is difficult or somewhere which is hard fished, just so the roach don't see it. Out. So single caster, it's buried. All the time loose feeding round the float and the float area. Oh, that roach took on the drop. They're just used to those casters whizzing down through the water. Taking them. You could see the caster halfway up the line there. Just when the fish blow the bait out, they try to eject the hook and they blow the caster. Look how far it's gone up the line. That's a long, long way. Probably 12 inches up the line. It's the power, they have loads of power when they go to try to eject the hook. Still perfectly hooked though. That one took it on the drop. Just with that light shotting down the line, the bait going through the water slowly, and the roach took it on the drop. Back in action. If you want to catch roach, wherever you happen to live, you won't have to travel far. And this species is guaranteed to provide you with a great day's fishing. The natural diet of roach will be made up of crustaceans, aquatic plants and detritus, but maggots and casters will always be successful. However, employing tactics using hemp and tears has proved very effective. Roach are generally found living in shoals, and will feed at all levels, but because they can be cautious, you will need to feed the swim continuously if you want to attract more confident bites. A member of the carp family, roach are widespread throughout Great Britain in canals, rivers and still waters. For match anglers, although this is a relatively small fish, a shoal carefully played will bring excellent results, while for the pleasure angler, this most attractive of species will be an absolute delight to catch again and again and again. Oh, we're in. Nice fish again. Oh, lovely fish this one. Ian Heaps won his first World Championship in 1975. And he was one of the first Englishmen to do so. Oh, this is a lovely fish. And the following year, this is when I first met him, the following year he went to Ireland and he then got the world record for coarse fish. 166 pounds, 11 ounces of roach. This was on the Erne at Enniskillen. And the following year, I went out there, complete unknown, and I caught 166 pounds, 9 ounces, which was just 2 ounces short of the world record. So he beat me that day, but I won the World Championship 4 times. He only won it once. Hope he doesn't hear me saying that.